Alright, here it's Friday, March 27th, and I'm gonna make another little video here. Why not, right? I mean, let's go with the trend. So here, I got something, first time I've got exposure to this, little bit of a system here, and what Citrix is, ticker CTXS, is actually an online type of business meeting format. So the way that I got exposed to this was that there's a story about insider trading here, and Loeffler. I'm not sure how you say this, Kelly Loeffler or Wolfier. Either way, she was like basically suspected for insider trading because they obviously had a meeting within the Senate, and then she actually is an owner of the New York Stock Exchange with her husband, and she sold a lot of her stocks. I mean, and then the bigger thing was that she made an investment into a particular company that did quite well over these dire times. Because if we look at Citrix here, or CTXX, it is. Let's take a look at this. Let's see if we get a description here. It's a way. I mean, yeah. I wish that it would just give a little bit more of let's say a couple sentences describing its business. Either way, it's a way that businesses can work from home. So obviously it's something that every big business has done. Everyone's working from home. So with banks having meetings between them, this is going to be something that is obviously going to be a lot more use. There's a lot more use here. Um, so it enables work from home. So so it's a way that people can work from home, like blending the technology here. So you can look into this a little bit more, but that's what it is. So with the current situation, I mean, obviously, if you knew that people were going to have to be working from home, you would probably get an idea that, hey, this company is going to be doing pretty good. And more and more so, physical location, offices, maybe this is something that is actually something worth looking into. So looking at this company over the long term, it looks like it does have a pretty good upward trend here. So just taking a look at this and a long-term spectrum and see where we can draw, let's say, some support or resistance. I mean, it's got quite a bit of a high one here. Well, why not? Let's just give us the bigger broad channel. So it's following this general support right here. You know what? I'm just gonna do it a little bit different. So it's not quite as. Sometimes it just gets a little bit kind of gross looking when it's when there's a parallel channel and you're trying to mess with it, and it's just kind of everything has to be worked behind it. Um, Shit, this line sucks. So let me just try this again here. Right here, like so, like so. Yeah, why don't I just draw it a little bit more respectable right here? We got two touches. Shit, man. You can see how few. Let me just let's just draw an arrow here, so this doesn't just be a little bastard. So we could say, I mean, depending on how tight you want to draw that, we could draw something like that and say, hey, there's a decent long-term support trend line right there. Um, Good, good. The moving average here is not applicable. I mean, a 200-day on a monthly is, very big. We could say that we've broken we've broken previous highs here, so we're into all-time high range here. So that means that, well, yeah, look at this. We can see that this is an ascending triangle, and typically all ascending triangles are bullish. So here we see that triangle on a big monthly sense. We see it moving to the upside. It's got higher lows continuously, and we're making higher highs as well. So right now, I mean, well, this looks relatively decent too. Looks like we've had the momentum kind of shift down, and the one thing that I can say is that it is maybe a little bit extended right now. I mean, we did have this big pump up here. It's this we'll have to take a look on a shorter time frame, but maybe there is potential here. Maybe not so much as, let's say, an instance like here. So maybe, well, yeah, we could tell why this is at such a big uproar, but this is kind of a stock that I was completely unaware of, but it's got my attention now, and people are insider trading it now. Was it only for this little pump right here? Was that all that was going on? But you can see that this has been a pretty good stock historically, regardless, over the last 20 years. So this looks like it's something that we could take a decent look at. And let's just move it up into a weekly sense here and take a look from the standpoint. And you can see the last month has been all buy. So we bought, and we were coming down pretty hard, and it just got boom. We've slotted back up here. So that's a pretty darn bullish candle. And yeah, I mean, we started this week. We started this week Monday at 121, and we've already had a $20 swing here. So this right here, I mean, this one might be worth. Yeah, that's why I'm following it right now. At least just for the juicy information that this is what people are insider trading. And now it's a question of, okay, has this extended itself? It's kind of pushing into new all-time highs right now. So I'm just gonna continue going up. I mean, there's not a real clear pattern right there. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be worth jumping in already. Maybe the gains have already happened, or have already happened, right? Here in the daily, we could say right here during this crossover, that could have been a little bit more of a close time frame, a smaller time frame that you could have made an entry into this and had quite a nice up up um, upward movement in price. Here, it's pretty atypical to see it flatten out like that, then just boom, jump off. So, like we said, there has been some historical reasons why. Um, and typically, let's say that you wanted to just, well, say you're trying to play this breakout here, that typically would be a bad idea, as it did even fall down just to get caught up, and now it pushed up again. But this is pretty choppy here for me. And we're moving into new territory here too, and we're right around this kind of top. So for me, like on a daily sense, I mean, I might just let this kind of putter out, just kind of roll over, and then maybe this will be a good place to buy, especially if more and more companies are adopting a work from home type of status, or policy, let's say. But yeah, here on the 4 hour, we can see, yeah, the time to buy was a while ago. We could say March 20th was the time to buy right now. So this last week, what a week for it, right? I mean, we got some pretty good volatility here on this sense. So we came up, we started to come down, and we got caught. We came up again, come down, we got caught, we came up again. I mean, could this just keep on going? Um, let's look historically. Has it ever been to these levels? I mean, this is probably like some more of the bullish activity that this has ever had. So the MACD is at 5.46. I mean, that's pretty. It was all the way down at 5 to 5. Like that's starting to get a little bit volatile here. And I mean, you could say that on the shorter time frame, yeah, I would expect this to roll over and come down a little bit. And you can see that these movements have been quite a ways up, then down, and then all the way back up, and then it's down. So it's not just a continual kind of movement like it normally does. It's a lot more volatile. So for me, looking at this on this 4 hour standpoint, you could probably predict that it could probably run a little bit more because it hasn't quite rounded off here on a 4 hour sense. But looking at the 2 hour, I mean, you can kind of see it's just working in waves upward, and it's working on this challenging part right here. So right there, it's gonna have to break that resistance and see if it can keep on pushing into all new highs. But looks like we got one, two, and maybe this is that fifth wave, and maybe we're gonna need to do a little ABC correction back downward. And just to quickly, draw in a hypothetical Elliott wave to kind of see if that has any value there. But you could say that there was a ABC corrective wave here in that sense, and then we're continuing up with a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could say that's wave 1, that's wave 2, and the third wave here. Could we be into this level right there? And this looks like it is within the rules of Elliott wave theory. And before anyone wants to use this information, I mean, you definitely want to do this stuff yourself. And I like just drawing it to see if it starts making a pattern within a wave. And it usually does. And it can kind of just give you the sense, like I've mentioned before, of how these charts typically move. And knowing that they move historically like this, I mean, you can get a little bit of a better idea what's to come. So was it a B, C here, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna have another little correction down? I mean, on this 2-hour chart, this is not the right denomination for this. Like, this should probably be a little a. Basically, these big A's circled, like, these are supposed to represent the super cycle on like a month. And now I just use them on every sense because I don't do appropriate Elliott wave theory. I just use a little bit of it just to see, is it doing a 1, 2, 3 down and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and then should we? I mean, right now, if I just wanted to put my neck out there, I mean, I'd probably say, we're probably going to have some type of A, B, C down, and then likely there's no reason for this to really diminish. I mean, maybe it's big, maybe it's small, maybe we catch support, let's say, well, maybe somewhere around here. You could always look and see what a Fibonacci move would be up here, and to say if that is truly the top, which we're not certain, we could see retracement. Yeah, let's say into this zone right here. I mean, that would be typical. That's this typical stock movement. I mean, if it was super bullish, we could see it bounce off the 382 right here. That would be an indication that we're super bullish. So that might be something to look at. And it looks like there is a little bit of support right here too, of that last little movement up. So you never know. But yeah, this is going to take some of this out of here. And yeah, I guess this hasn't completely, you can see it's starting to round a little bit, and these aren't quite this one should have been a little bit higher. I guess it could still form. Looking at this, let's just look at this a little bit more and more and more. So right here, we can see we're kind of had a double top right there. Well, not really, but I mean, that's not the right terminology, but these two candles, I mean, they're somewhat forming the new, let's say, ceiling for this price, and they do have a little bit of a wick right here, so that means that there has been some battling here. So if we wanted to zoom in and look on an hour sense, we can see how those two bars actually play out. So we had a move up, looks like we got rejected here, the bears start selling out, and this might be the real true kind of the real resistance right here. Looking at it a little bit more, I mean, you might put it right at that level on this hour sense, and we can even go more into a half hour. And yeah, that does seem like where the actual true resistance is. And let's just zoom it back out and see what that looks like. So I mean, it's pretty much the same, right? So it didn't make a huge difference, but looking at all this stuff, I mean, with a 2-hour, let's just look at a 4-hour now. I mean, now you can see the value in it. So that's where the true turnaround happened on this 4-hour chart. And you could have maybe made a prediction to short the market up here, as you could see it forming that kind of resistance. And I mean, that's more day trading. When you look and see these things happening, you know that this is all-time high. You have a green bar, and now you have a red bar challenging it. It's not guaranteed that this is going to fall back down, but you can see it happens right here too, right? We kind of had a green bar, then a red bar, and then it dropped down a little bit. This will come back up, but there is value between looking at things at different time frames, and that's one of the things that's not really my forte, but there is some use case there. So with this right now, like, I'd be watching this longer trend right here. So you could think like you might wait for this price to come down a little bit so that it's closer to this bigger trend, and I would expect it to keep moving up. I'm just gonna change this moving average, let's say just to a 13 because it's a monthly sense, and to see what it looks like. See if there's any real value there. Maybe a little bit. Um, I guess you could say anytime you bought underneath here, you would have been happy. I mean, in the long term, like not really right there, but anytime you sell one, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to use. I'm just gonna check it on a couple different time frames. Let's just say 55. It's a little bit more drawn out. You could see it kind of touch here a couple times and gain support. Under here, you could say that there's possibility to move a little bit down. Let's just look on a weekly. And yeah, this holds a little bit more true on this weekly sense. And yeah, you can see that it's kind of crawling up. So you could use that as some type of support. And let's just do on the daily and take a look what this looks like. So when we change this, I mean, it basically just shortens up the average. So depending on how tight you want to be, like how tight your margin. So if we do a 13-day here, there's not a lot of move. It's only percentages, right? I mean, this is gonna. You can think that the price always wants to move back towards the mean. So anytime it deviates away, it usually wants to draw back towards it here. So that's how you can look at this. I mean, anytime the price deviates away, you can expect it's going to start trying to get back towards the mean to make another deviation in any type of way. So right now, we could say that, yeah, we're probably in this extended phase right here, and then it's going to have a retracement back and touch somewhere, let's say, along, let's say, this 125 range. I mean, and then we can start moving back up again if that's the case. And well, there's no like black and white, but you could put the 55-day here and say, this still is somewhat true, right? When it starts deviating away, it usually comes back and tries to look for this moving average. So on a daily sense, we can start using bigger numbers too, like 100-day. Like 100-day is applicable. And a lot of times when people start looking at long-term trends, one of the favorite ones to use is a 200-day moving average, and I am using the exponential moving average here, so it kind of just makes it a little bit better. So looking at this, you can see that I usually catch support right here quite a bit, and you could say that, yeah, this is a little bit better of a moving average on this time frame. So right here, all the same, you could say that this moving average, this should start approximating it, but overall, we can see that we're in a general uptrend, and this looks like a decent stock to maybe have some little bit of exposure to, because, well, hey, I mean, there's some diversification here, and this is in the cutting edge new tech kind of sector, and maybe we don't work from home anymore, but just with this whole like panic between the whole world, do I have to really say anything more? These systems may be increasingly implemented throughout business in the future, so I'm going to take a good look at this, and I think I'm going to wait, let's say, until we have a little bit of retracement in this. But yeah, hopefully you guys thought this was kind of cool. This is an interesting little stock to take a look at, and yeah, I'll call that a wrap. Alrighty, awesome. Thank you.